shiny golden god. Can't you see he's the man? Let me hear you applaud. He's more than a man, he's a shiny golden god. Can't you see he's the man? Let me hear you applaud. He's more than a man, he's a shiny golden god. Can't you see he's the man? Let me hear you applaud. He's more than a man, he's a shiny golden god.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are we doing today? Are we all still on a high? Are we on now the downer, the sort of post-downer Citizencon blues that tends to happen every time we have one? I know I feel it sometimes. Thank you, everybody. What have we got going on here? Let's have a look. So we got Deacon gifting a sub to Academy, Jeffrey with a new Prime sub, Deacon gifting another sub to... where was it? Zol, Sizen with a 3-month resub, Sweetheart gifting a sub to Blitz, and Way Too Hungry subscribing as well. We're on a high level train too, I think it is, but whatever it's called. Beers and party, everybody. Thank you so much, guys. That is very, very kind of you. shall we get started? We have a lot to get through, a lot to break down. 07, and welcome. Let's see who's here first and foremost. JJ, Scott, Knox, Dimitri, Abeloft, Deplorable, Frisker, Ramoyne, Zol, Final Republic, Ferk, Javen, Gene, 07. Welcome, YouTube. Let's have a look over at Twitch. And we have Sandman, Deacon. What's that? What's that now? I can't see it. Hang on. Lucas, thank you so much for the resub, my friend. Beers and party. Let's keep that flowing. What's happened there? Stream Deck's just going all weird. Academy, Mighty Steed, Sweetheart, Sizen, Glut, Dendra, Rofus, Avi, Crimson, Blob, Joshua, Craigie, Volos, Deadlock, Jeffrey, of course, Dimitri over there as well. Way Too Hungry. Thank you, Way Too Hungry. City. Rhino. Jacob. We're almost there. Derek. Ethnicification. Lucas. Lance. Timothy. Magistrate. City Gamer. Shockwave. And I think we've got everyone. Let's just check YouTube again. Well, I think we're good. Alzenor. There you go. Marcon. 07. How was Citizencon for you all? Bretley. 07. It was very exciting. A little disappointing in areas just because of certain things that I was really hoping to see and didn't. But like I'll say in the video, it's just I knew going into it, with it only being like a 2-hour thing, there was always going to be something missing. Because there's just no way they could cover it all. But like what they did with crafting, which I was happy to see, it's just a small snippet of crafting, just talking about their plans, their progress and whatnot. It would have been cool to have got little snippets of that throughout of things like base building and whatnot. But it is what it is. I thoroughly enjoyed what we saw, especially this. I'm going to be talking about this a lot. But what we're going to do today is just run through the stream, pausing, chatting about each thing they say, skipping over the sort of the filler bits, hearing everyone's opinions, delving further into what it all means. But flipping heck, that Genesis tech. Colonial Fleet, how you doing? Welcome. Daylight Fire, welcome. Jacob. So, yes, and so crafting, I mean, the thing with crafting is, like, the tech preview has, you know, a lot of things lined up that wants to go in it. Right now, they're testing Vulcan, right? Well, not right now. They're aiming to test Vulcan. They're aiming to test all these other updates with sort of mission system stuff and AI. And they were trying to get over some blockers with the latest Vulcan test before they roll out another one, and that was like weeks ago. So, I'm sure there is more of that to come. They want to get crafting into the tech preview in its sort of basic form before the end of the year. They want to try and get engineering into the tech preview before the end of the year. City Gamer, thank you so much for the 5 gift subs, my friend. Beers and Party, thank you, sir. Party Bus as well. Good point, Deacon. Thank you, my friend. So Deacon, we'll talk about that in a sec, but Deacon is providing one of those Citizencon goodies packs to give away. City, have a beer, have a Party Bus as well, my friend. Thank you so much. So we will set, it's just going to be on YouTube for this one, just because it's a bit easier to set it up on there than anywhere else. But it'll just be, let's just go to giveaways. Thank you so much, Deacon. Thank you, City. So it'll be a keyword raffle. And it will be for the Citizencon Digital goodies pack. Let's start that exclamation enter. We'll start that going for, let's say, 30 minutes. And then after 30 minutes, we will draw it. Thank you so much for that, Deacon. You're right, I forgot. Dave, welcome. Ferk, Droxus, welcome. All good, thank you. How are you and yours? Stephen, welcome. Paul, welcome. Good morning. Christoph. So, yeah, there's a lot they want to get into the tech preview test. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to put it into the tech preview test and leave it there for the duration of the year. It could be between now and the end of the year that they have another Vulcan test, another, a first crafting test, an engineering test, and then they alternate as and when they need to, sort of based on when it frees up, what's new, what's to be tested. So we don't know how it's going to go. They want Vulcan out, and they're quite confident they can get the Vulcan updates out before the end of the year. So hopefully that's not too long. It's still taking a bit of time, clearly. They're still having issues with blockers and whatnot for getting it up there. But they were very, Benoit was very confident about that. Mackie, welcome. Hyper. Danger. Yatan, Spillane, Top Shot. Dusa. Jeffrey C. How you doing? Thank you for the sub, my friend. So... yeah, we'll see how other tech preview goes. There's a lot they want to test in that before the end of the year. My hope, which is just, how I would hope they do it and how I sort of foresee it happening, it is nothing more than that. There's no confirmation here, is they'll get Vulcan out as soon as possible, freeing up the tech preview to then conduct a short duration of maybe a couple or a few or just one crafting tests on the tech preview, and then when it becomes closer to the end of the year, put out engineering onto the tech preview and leave it up for the duration so that we can test it. I would love to get the tech preview engineering stuff in our hands for the end of the year, for the duration of the end of the year, because it's a really deep system. Crafting is a deep system, but this is going to be a very basic version of it, right? To just test and provide quick feedback. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, pretty exciting there. Mixed emotions for Citizencon. Disappointed, no pairs. But all else, no pairs. What's that? Sorry. Even got a stinger out of it. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm the same. I'm kind of mixed with Citizencon. Overall, I thoroughly enjoyed it and literally had a lump in my throat watching the Genesis stuff. It was at the point where it's like, holy crap! What blows my mind and makes me laugh a lot is how originally we weren't even going to have planets. We were going to have a planet with 5 landing zones only, or less, and you would be able to be taken down on rails in a cutscene, land there, walk around, whatever it has to offer, and then take off again and you're back in space. Like, that was what Star Citizen was, right? It wasn't going to be physical planets. And then they were like, let's make physical, let's have a look into it. Let's do some R&D into procedural generation and see what we can do. Now, their planets are going to be... I don't know any other company or any other game that does planets the way CIG do it, right? It's like... let me just bring that back again. They're beyond real in terms of just, not just visuals, but their makeup, how they're generated. The fact that there will be soil types and soil quality for the sake of farming. There will be, minables that are found in the correct locations, that where you would expect them to be. And then just biome and just different biomes that connect realistically. To me, it makes me laugh so much how the original idea was, we're not going to have physical planets, it's just going to be landing zones. Well, they never said that, it was just landing zones, and it was like, that's great, I'm fine with that. And then, all of a sudden, they're creating the most realistic planets you will ever see in a video game. Not to say any other game won't get close or similar, but this is just a part of the environments, right? This isn't even the gameplay or the content, it's just environments. Boogie, how you doing? Welcome. Yeah, no base building. I mean, that's going to be a next year thing. The thing is, as I say, they had 2 hours minus, the thing went on for longer than 2 hours, but there was a lot of in-between segments with Jared, of course. Essentially, there was about 2 hours of content there, and they could not show everything. I was really wishing we would have seen base building, hacking, the radars and scanners, maybe the flight model stuff. I wasn't expecting engineering. They said they're not going to show anything of that until it's ready to go into the tech preview, because there's nothing more to talk about. But I was really hoping to see all the other stuff, even in their little snippets. Nexus, how you doing? Minor Skill, welcome. Stranix, welcome. Binks, welcome. And then, yeah, so at the end of it, it wasn't like, oh, I'm gutted that we never got to see that. It was disappointing in the fact that the last bit I was really hoping was going to be base building, and then it was this strike force, which at the time I was like, oh, I wanted base building, but I'm still very excited for that strike thing, because as an org, we're going to really enjoy it. What's that? Deacon? Gene, how you doing over on Twitch? What's up, Deacon? What's confusion? What's confusing people? Yeah, exactly, Sal. We keep giving them money. Like, this is the thing. Star Citizen, this is possible because we are funding it, and there's no timelines. You give someone enough money and enough time, they will create the best of anything, right? And that's important. And that's why Star Citizen will be what it is, because we're giving them that, right? And, of course, any game company could eventually make this kind of thing if they had all the money in the world and all the time in the world. But they don't, which is the blessing of what Star Citizen is and the way it's happening. Yeah, Twitch is for YouTube, for the giveaway, sorry. Twitch for the giveaway. Tamara King, welcome. Not on YouTube. We're using it through the through Deepbot. It's just much easier through Twitch. Ace, how you doing? Yeah, very exciting. And sort of going back to the whole thing about base building, about all these other elements. It's not to say that any of that isn't coming next year. It most likely is. It's just their focus is, well, they could only show us what they could show us. And from what I see, 4.4 next month, so November patch, Dinus, welcome, is going to be a partial Nyx system, right? You've got Levski, you've got the 2 jump points, one from Pyro to Nyx, one from Stanton to Nyx, which will change. Eventually it'll be accessed via Castra. We're going to get the Kiga belt, and we're going to get the Glacium ring, which are both asteroid belts, one more further out than the other. And I'm sure a lot of other content as well as the Welcome to Nyx mission. I'm sure there will be a lot of other content in there, and a lot of other things to come with it as well. But that's currently what we're going to get for 4.4. Then, beyond that, is all the other stuff. Yo, Coffee, how you doing? Do you know what? Levski to me looked exactly... I mean, obviously, the external is very different. The internals, I didn't see much difference in comparison to what it was when we first went there. Book and Peter, welcome. I was like, oh, that just looks kind of like it was. I didn't see much change. I'm sure it'll be different when we get in there. But, the interior, the Anthony Tanaka location and all that kind of stuff, it just all felt as it was. Yeah, I mean, performance was bad, wasn't it, at Levski? Hence we called it Lagski. Yeah, interstellar hauling missions, both normal, different scales, timed ones, all sorts of stuff. Sorry, Biggs. I'm with it now. I'm with it. Spacey, welcome. Nord, welcome. Sell you the goodies pack. Can you not still get it, though? A massive amount of funding went into the game, not limited by console hardware. Well, that's true, Final. I mean, that's why it had to be a PC-only game, because it just allows for that... not just graphics, just in terms of, like, horsepower, right? Like you say, hardware. Star Citizen's universe is not possible on a console. Squadron, sure, very potential. But yeah, for the PU, it had to be PC. Question, Skero, do you think Genesis has to hit before base building? Yes. I think... So, Planetech right now, Planetech version 4, is I don't know if it's set up for base building. Genesis will be 100% ready for it. It'll be set up, designed, and built to support base building. And at the end of the day, they did say that they didn't really want base building to come in until the Nyx system was there, because it is a frontier system. It is classed as... It is the sort of place that they wanted us to first do base building. So, as much as I'm a bit 50-50 with them retconning systems because, you know, a lot of us have read the old, you know, system descriptions and are, like, really excited for them. Love, especially with Nyx, love that sort of barren, no man's land. Miffed, thank you so much, my friend. Beers and party, please. That sort of no man's land with having no planets that can be settled on. I just think now it is not possible to do that. It is silly to keep the lore as it was and not change the planets to be capable of supporting life. Not every planet has to support life, nor will it. But I think going through the first 5 that we get especially is important to give us some places that we can settle where there is breathable land. I would much rather that, especially for the first 5, than keep it as it was. Just because I want to walk around those grasslands, you know, it's phenomenal. Are they going to update mining to go with crafting? Yes. Yeah, so, and that is also a Genesis thing. So Genesis will scatter the assets more realistically. Dark Tidings, thank you, my friend. How are you doing today? Beers and party, please. Thank you, sir. So when it comes to mining, the assets are scattered in a realistic manner. Like, you look at these, is this it? No, that's not it. We will watch it in a second. So they're going to be, and this is all part of making the terrain more drivable, they're going to be, you know, found at locations where you would expect rocks to form, where there are, like, bases of cliffs and so forth. And for minables, you can see them in some places. Where is it? That's it. So here's some, look. They're going to be, like, this here is a mineable, right? It's at this sort of foot of this scaly rock. And these will, again, come with quality. Everything is coming with quality. Minables, resources, harvestables, every single thing will have a quality rating. Mucky Care, welcome. And yeah, you can see here, this is you know, finding these rocks. You're going to be in, again, it's like a skill-based thing. Miners will know where to go for rocks because they're so used to finding them. They'll know what geographical landmarks to look out for to discover them. More so than just now they're sort of randomly placed, which is really annoying. Explorer, welcome. So yeah, that's going to be a real nice addition, is the mining updates. Well, I don't think each year we're going to get a bare bones system and then they're going to... I think it's just this year that's what they're going to do. Last year they wanted to get the entirety of Pyro in because they thought it would be better than drip feeding us Stanton like they did. So it was a bit of a change in direction to kind of see how that impacts us. To make a bigger wow moment. This year, I think they probably wanted more of the Nyx system in, but they just didn't have the time to do it. So they're now drip feeding us again. And making it into this, like, it'll be fun to watch it come along, which, you know, it will. But I would certainly prefer to have had the full Nyx system. But at the same time, I understand that if we're getting planets like this, when it's ready, I'm happy to wait, right? It's like, this is worth that wait. And it's going to be next year that we get Nyx 1. It's like, Nyx is coming this year, minus the planets. Next year, we're getting the planets. And it will roll out probably Nyx 1 first. I don't know if we're going to see Nyx 2, 3... at the same time, or drip-fed, and then they will go back and touch up the other planets with that stuff. Do you think big ship sales are over now that we don't have concept sales anymore? No? No, they'll do big ship sales. They just, either they will do a concept sale, or they will wait until it's more ready to push out. There's big ships coming. You know, there's always big ships coming. It's not... they don't have to have the option of concept sales or not to decide whether we're going to get big ships. There will be big ships. Did I say there will be big ships? Yo, Rick, how you doing? Yeah, I'm looking forward to... You know, crafting itself is going to be a huge part of just driving everything we do, everything we want to do, and why we're doing it, especially as an org. Oh, bless you, Dark Tiding. Are you at work? You're at work, are you? Going well, I hope? No, 4.4 is next month. It's November's patch is 4.4, way too hungry. And it's bringing Nyx, but only, you know, minus the planets. Yellow, how you doing? Thank you for the 92-month resub. Holy moly. I can't wait to build. Like, remember, everything you see in this video, we will be able to build upon. A house, a shack, a farm, or whatever. Not necessarily a farm straight away, because we'll need the farming mechanics in, but you know what I mean. Will we see a gateway station for Nyx? I would assume so, yeah. For the initial drop, I don't know if we'll see one at Pyro, one at Stanton, and then, you know, they'll just remove those and just have it connected to Pyro and Castra. But, sorry, not... How does it go? Is it Pyro to Castra? So Stanton to Pyro to Castra to Nyx. That's right, isn't it? Tech, thank you for the 76-month resub. Beers and Paddy, please, thank you. Bless. I know, Dendra, my poor GPU. You know, it's like, looking at this, thankfully, I'm in the process of putting a computer together. And I know Digital Tengu, who is donating his 1490, praise the Lord. I mean, if he changes his mind, that's his decision, of course. I'm not going to hold it against him. It's a ridiculous thing to give away, right? But he said he'll be back midway through this month. So we are about there. So I'm hoping to hear from him and get the yes or no about his 4090. If it's a no, then I'll have to just not necessarily extend the funding, but at least extend the the budget in some way. But if it is, then once he's sort of committed to that and I've received it, then I will start ordering the pieces. And I'm going to actually wait until Black Friday to see what deals I can get and put that together, because I'm going to need it to produce content at 4K with this. Even today, I downloaded the full Citizencon stream in 4K, and Premiere was just like, even in 1/8 of its, what do you call it? Resolution, you know, like, or detail. It was like, and I was just pain in the ass. So I am very excited to get that whole PC built, offload the stream onto my old PC, and then see this in all its glory and get all that fancy footage. A gulag for stream sniping, yeah. Yeah, we could build a prison. Eclipse, how you doing? Welcome. Shall we get watching the stream? Let's just wait for this video to finish again, because we can watch it in all its glory and then get to the stream. This is a video I just clipped together because I was so blown away. Ukami, welcome. And Lazarus, welcome. Nagita, welcome. They will always be big ships. Always, I promise. I put these together because I was so blown away by Genesis. It was above and beyond what I was expecting to see visually, and I was very impressed with it. Apocalypse. You got some ads. Thank you, my friend. Beers and Paddy, please. Yeah, I'm glad they put that tunnel in the Levski's asteroid in Delamar. It looks nice. Penguin, welcome. Nothing on base building is disappointing. Yeah, same. Should have been some sort of update showing us its progress. I agree. I was so desperate to see anything base building. A bit like, even if it was like what they did with crafting, where it was just a little snippet. I would have loved that. So, from my understanding, ArtCorp Stanton 3 is its own thing, but I can't wait to see what they... Well, yeah, I mean, it's supposed to have parks, it's supposed to have bodies of water. I don't know, I'm hoping Genesis will be able to cater for that as well, but... Yeah, that's a difficult one, is the... It's ArtCorp. And no, Ironclad isn't going to be flyable in 2025. It's going to be a next year thing along with its deployable, whatever you call it, side thing, command module. Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen solar flares. There has been no word on them at all. I haven't heard anything about solar flares. I'm not sure what was holding them up. Personally, I think it's mostly down to engineering to have the solar flare systemically, you know, damage the ship's components. I think once we get engineering, then we'll see solar flares come out. Good morning, Jason. January sales is a good call, but I want it before the end of the year, personally, if I can. I did this with this PC. I put it off and put it off, waiting for cheaper prices or better items, and it just took forever to get built. With this new PC, it is future-proofed. I can swap things, and that's why I went AMD, because they tend to keep their chipsets supported through their motherboards for longer durations. So I just thought, go with that. I can upgrade the RAM, I can upgrade the GPU, I can upgrade the CPU if I need to. There's plenty of choice there. All right, calm it down, Pedro. Stan, thank you so much for the follow, my friend. And Gene, thank you so much for the subscription. Beers and Paddy, please. Shall we watch it? For me, I was surprised there was nothing about scanning. Yeah, so the thing is, Vulcans, welcome. Scanning, radars, signatures, hacking, crafting, base building. Oh, what else is there? Flight model. There is a lot. I can't think of anything else. There's probably, I'm sure there's more that are intended to roll out next year. They just had a short duration of time to tell us, to showcase stuff. That is why we didn't see stuff. Engineering, that is why we didn't see those things, is because just purely a lack of time. Not because they're not anywhere near ready to go or whatever. They only have so much time. They want to show us certain things. Chief, how you doing? Mr. Dirt, welcome. Yeah, Pedro, 10 out of 10 every time. 60% of the time, every time. Sal, how you doing? Do you think Squadron will be a linear bare-bones star engine to allow a focus on single-player experience, giant space battles that won't be impossible? That won't be possible. Yes and no. So Squadron is a linear. It's not bare-bones. It's a linear. You know, sort of on not. It's a narratively driven story, right? You're not going to be able to go off and explore. You're in the military. You can't just go AWOL. It'll be like mission failed. All the battles and things are absolutely possible in the PU. What do you mean by, like, is it a bare bones star engine? The engine does the same thing. A lot of it is more just down to like the network stuff, but big space battles will, and they already are possible in the PU. The problem is most people just solo the flipping. What do you call it? Most people just solo the flipping Idrises. But we don't. We certainly don't. All right, let's get ready. Griff, thank you so much for the 8-month continuation, my friend. Disappointed the ArcCorp. So, yeah, another thing about this instancing tech, which we will get to in a minute, but the reason why I think they went with Nyx versus ArcCorp will still get the municipal works. I'm almost certain about it. It's not that they're not doing that. I think it's just more that they decided to focus more on bringing that stuff to Levski first to give Levski content. Stanton's got content. It'll get more content. Nyx needs it to be ready, you know, to flesh out. That is probably why they pushed it out to Levski first. But I'm certain they will bring just as much instance content to ArcCorp and everywhere else as well. Ramoyne, thank you, my friend, for the 9 months. Let's get some beers and Paddy out for those ones. Dr. Crispy, how you doing?
This year has marked a turning point in Star Citizen's history. We have finally moved past the question of whether we can build an architecture to deliver a universe with incredible detail at massive scale, seamlessly, and where thousands of people can all play together. Server meshing has been working pretty much flawlessly at scale for the past 9 months. It has brought a more populated and active verse with up to 700 players online and in the same space at once. It's greatly increased server performance and delivered a much more responsive player experience. I couldn't be prouder of the team. They delivered something no other online game does presently. There may be other games out there that claim large player counts, or even the ability to mesh, but none do it at our detail, scale, and seamlessness. Of course, there will be continued improvements to server meshing and to Star Engine, but having moved past this last big technological hurdle has allowed us to finally focus on quality of life and stability improvements, something that has long been overdue. We're about to deliver our 9th patch in 10 months, with content that has brought Star Citizen storytelling into new and exciting directions. We pushed more than 24 features, and more than 2,000 bug fixes. And while there is still a long way to go, the game has gotten more stable, performant, and fun as a result.
So hacking is, we need engineering, because the systems need to be, you know, the actual systems, planet side, on ships and so forth, doors, all the components, they need to be systemic so that you can hack into it. And so hacking will consist of, we don't know exactly, because the last they told us would be kind of like a Pac-Man style way of avoiding guards or avoiding sentries and then finding your way into where you want to get to. But they will also do a more real world typing, code-based hacking system. But then they said they found a developer came up with a much better idea. They're going to go with that, and they're going to run with that and see how it goes. And that's the last we heard. We haven't heard anything more beyond it. Shadow Strike, thank you so much for the 3 months there, BS and Paddy. So hacking will be a big part. It's not just for shutting down systems, opening doors, or creating diversions and whatnot. It's also part of data running, being able to take sensitive information, extracting it or downloading it or uploading it to finish a mission. So in a way, a minigame. They want to keep away from things being minigames and have skill elements to it. From what I saw about, like when they were talking about this whole Pac-Man idea, that would be more of a minigame in the sense that it's like you're trying to avoid getting caught and alerting them to the fact that you're trying to hack their system, which sounded very much like a minigame. Special search, how you doing? But they would also have that better, quicker way of doing it, provided you're skilled at it, where you've got to try and override things by, I don't know, typing. I don't even know what real-life hacking is like. But, as I say, that I think that might have been scrapped, and they found a better way of doing it, but they haven't revealed at all, ever, since they said that, what it's going to be like. But yeah, e-warfare, shutting down communications, that kind of stuff as well when you're fighting fleets.
You see this in player metrics. More of you play every day.
So
the daily average users is up 45% from last year, and your play time is up 15%. So more people venture out into the verse and stay there longer than ever before. And through all that, we've told the dual stories of the Frontier Fighters' assault on Pyro and the moral compromises being made to combat the regen crisis. Now, as those stories come to a rest for the time being, it's time to look forward to the next chapter of Star Citizen, where the instability in Pyro and the callous actions of some pave the way to new adventures, new locations, and new threats. Last year, we announced our next star system would be Nyx, home to the People's Alliance of Levski and bordering the Vanduul threat. Today, we're proud to share that your adventures in Nyx begin not next year, but next month, when Star Citizen's third system comes online in Alpha 4.4. 2 new systems in 1 year. That's only possible because of the tireless work of our development teams, server meshing accelerating what's possible, the support teams behind the scenes.
Yeah, I thought welcome, Nate. I thought playtime would have been up more than 15%. It's like you jump in game and you're not logging out for a while. I would have thought that would be higher. Shizu, welcome. Your dad just transferred you $500 for the Paladin. You think he just wants the Daka Daka? What's that? The Paladin's a cool ship. We'll talk about ships in a minute when we get round to it. Don't you worry.
And most importantly, all of you. Now, I do miss that we're not all together under one roof this year, but in many ways, we're more connected than ever. Across the globe, many of you are gathering at watch parties, 9 of them with our developers in attendance, and countless others springing up in communities everywhere, and all happening simultaneously today. So even if we're separated by oceans and continents, we're bound together by the same passion for space, for discovery, and for this incredible universe we're building together.
Castra 2026, Terra 2027. I think it's possible, but it really depends on just how fast Genesis can produce planets. I think now, instead of it being very much handcrafted, a lot of hands-on to create a planet, they are able to do a lot less of that and have them generated quicker and better, more realistically, based on all these rule sets. So really, if it is possible to speed it up so much more, then there's a potential we'll get Castra next year. But I don't know. As I say, it really depends on how fast they can get the planets out, whether they want to go back and touch up Stanton and Pyro before, whether they can have multiple planets in the works at the same time with Genesis. Like if they can just hit go and generate, 5 systems, 6 systems, or 3 planets, 4, who knows, right? Until we get that information, it's just guesswork. Unread, welcome. Chicho, welcome. So, I don't know. I really don't know. But I would guess Nyx this year, maybe Castra next year. Sorry, Nyx this year, next year. Maybe Castra next year, unless they're going to do the same thing, then 2027. Like, to me, I don't know, I don't care. I'm just excited for playing what we already have and then doing all of that on planets that Genesis produce. Like, that's going to blow my mind.
Whether you're at home or alongside your crew at a watch party, grab a drink, sit back, and let us take you inside our up-and-coming plans for the next year of Star Citizen.
Yeah, when it comes to, like, what's coming with Nyx, we know... Chicho, thank you for the follow. We know it's the 2 belts, Levski, and that mission. Beyond that, we don't know exactly. Then after that, and within the next 12 months, we're going to see things like Rockbreaker, the... I think Rockbreaker. We're going to see the hauling missions. We're going to see... well, there's something else as well. What was it? We'll get to it all. I can't remember. Yeah, the biomes, and we didn't see all the biomes. We've only seen the ones they showed off. There will be continually more biomes added. That's all they just showed us. And they will continue to update more
With the
biomes.
foundational technology now in place, the content development of the game is no longer restricted.
Draw a winner. 3, 2, 1. Boosh! Nexus! Oh, my Lord, Deacon. That is hilarious. That is hilarious that Nexus won that. You're probably not even going to want to give it to him. Congrats, Nexus. Yes, sneaky bastard. Philip, welcome. Hawk, welcome. That's so funny. I thought that's definitely rigged. I don't know what Deacon did, but he rigged that. You just want to build a farm, buy a space tractor, and live as a space farmer. You know what, Day Sleeper? Me too. Me too. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'll wait for him to say he doesn't want it. Nexus won. He entered. He won. If he doesn't want it, then he can say so. We'll see.
Restricted, allowing us to forge ahead with building out our first 5 star systems. Nyx will see the much-loved
You and this
Levski
Citizencon
landing
thing.
zone
The goodies
added
pack.
back to the verse, while also bringing you one of its most iconic landmarks, the Glacium Belt. Here, you'll experience a new combined arms operation that will introduce new factions and new adventures for you to discover. With this edition of our 3rd star system,
Reroll your hat. Why the hell did you enter? All right. Rofus. Are you here, Rofus? You're the winner next. Yeah, Pillock.
we're also going to do something that's at the heart of the entire Star Citizen experience.
Do you want to just DM, congrats, Rofus, just DM, also rigged, Deacon with your hand, or whatever he needs, and he'll send it over to you. There you go. Congrats, Rofus. Enjoy, my friend. Nexus, you're a pillock. You never win anything, let you have it. What am I missing? Hang on. Minor Skill, thank you for the follow. Nuclear, welcome. Thank you for the follow as well. It's always rigged unless you win. I can agree with that. I think that's about right.
And that is to build it right in front of you. As we have done this year, with the addition of several major locations, such as the Hathor facility or the Lazarus complex, we will continue to unveil new Nyx content throughout the year. It's
a lot of what they talk about here, I can't remember where the sort of cutoff is, where they say this is all part of, you know, the next 12 months. Ian Leyland mentions it, and I think it's essentially more content, more gameplay, you know, like the hauling missions and whatnot. Again, I cannot remember offhand what it is, but they will speak about it. It will include things like the exterior cargo elevators, absolutely.
Slightly different approach to how we deliver Pyro, but we feel this gets the content into your hands sooner and shows our intent as we continue our march towards 1.0. I'm so incredibly proud of the work our teams have done and are continuing to do, and we're excited to have you on this next step of our journey. And as with any journey in Star Citizen, that begins with a little story.
Thank you, Deacon, for that, my friend. Much appreciated. You know, Star Citizen this year has been a lot of fun, and it's just so much more playable, so much more enjoyable at scale as well. And with next year bringing
2025.
all of this new stuff, like obviously this year we're getting Nyx, we're getting the planets next year, we're getting all this content, all these features again that are going to start rolling out. And as Rich says later on, that the release cadence is going to be more similar to this year than previous years, where it was every quarter. I don't know if it's going to be every month. It kind of sounds like it is within, like 9 patches this year as such. Maybe not every month. But my only hope, which I'm okay with that, because I do enjoy that sort of release cadence, provided long-term persistence is up to snuff, because it is annoying for all of us when we're buying things in-game, earning things in-game, finding them, scavenging, and they get reset. Nobody likes that, and hopefully they can sort that out going into New Year or by the end of this year. And also with the off-grid stuff, if it resets my position every time a new patch comes out and I have to then take the ship out again, get rid of all the components and set it all up again, it's a pain in the ass. And if we're getting Nyx 1 sometime next year, I want to be able to live off-grid there without being interrupted. That said, it is an alpha. This is just part and parcel a lot of the time of what we have to deal with while we're playing a work-in-progress game. I'm not like, oh, I'm never playing it again. I'm not buying any more ships until you get long-term persistence sorted. It's more, I hope they can sort that out so that we're not having to deal with losing all this stuff that we all work very hard to claim and whatnot. So I'm happy for the release cadence to be as it is this year, and we can see these patches come along, because it is very exciting every month getting something new. And with it being next year, these features start coming in, these new planets start coming in. It's going to be like this year, but on steroids, where they also continue to maintain and keep things going. Attack Goose, how you doing? By all means, apply, my friend. Attile, welcome. What's my rank about the new ships? Oh, so personally, the Paladin, I think, looks phenomenal, and I love the look of that ship. It's damn expensive, but I'm looking forward to seeing our org use that as a, an escort ship, or a gunship for those on the ground. I think it is, like, I would say a 7.5 out of 10, only because it's pure combat. There's not much else to it. Love it for what it is, but if you're not using it for that, there's no other use case. Polyvoid, thank you for the follow. But it is a damn sexy ship, and I love the little, 4 SEU you've got caged next to the seats, next to the what do you call it, the stairs. The pilot can control all the guns, which I'm a bit like, I don't know if I agree with that. It's a 4-man ship, so you've got pilots, gunners, all working together. It just looks sick. The Stinger, I'm not fussed about alien ships. I don't own many because they're alien. I'm just like, it's cool, it's a nice ship, but it's not for me. So, 5 out of 10, even though it's a damn cool looking ship. And then the Skiv. Now the Shiv, sorry. It's more what it means versus what it is. The Shiv itself is a cool ship. Again, I would say it's more like a 7 out of 10 because it's like this all-rounder that is very different. It's like chop-shopped. But for me, what's exciting is what this means for the future. Same with the weapons and items. This is the first of probably a lot of other variety of ships that have been hacked together in the frontier from different places. And it creates rarity, it creates intrigue where you could be in one system and someone you have to go to these locations to get these things, and then eventually they start being integrated into the verse and you see it more commonly, or it's only found out here, only sold in this location. Something that CIG always want to do is encourage players to travel, to go places, not just have everything accessible in the one landing zone that you prefer, right? It's like everything's just accessible at Microtech, then no one would go anywhere else. It's about traveling around and finding these things that are unique. And for me, that's what I really love about the Shiv. Not necessarily the Shiv itself, which is a cool ship, but it's what else are we going to see from these crazy hacks that are out there living in the verse, putting stuff together, that we can then get blueprints. You travel out there, you get that blueprint for that very rare ship that is only available here, you bring that blueprint back, you get those components and those items, and you can craft it and start selling it yourself. So I kind of like it. And you can sit on a bucket. That's funny. I actually thought that was a joke at first. So yeah, it's an interesting choice, but I do like it. What about the ships people brought with money? Terrapin, Aquila, Karak, Merchantman, and many more. They keep getting bigger, but it's putting them ships back. You what? What do you mean, Paul? What's putting them back? Mandalore, welcome. Rating every ship some form of 7. So Star Citizen players rate ships like girls rate themselves. I wouldn't know, I'm not a girl. Primogen, welcome. How you doing, Lewis? Welcome. Or Louis. Bearmoth.
We introduced 2 major storylines spanning multiple patches, creating a living backbone for adventure across the universe. The first was Pyro Must Burn. It connected Stanton to Pyro and introduced the Frontier Fighters, who are relentless, brutal, and determined.
So CIG aren't necessarily pushing us to ballistic gameplay. It is just an option. And when we have Maelstrom, you know, the physical damage, when we have engineering, each weapon type, each damage type will have its relevance and its importance. Ballistics have their place. Maybe not so much now, but they will. Every weapon and will have a use case, and depending on the mission at hand is where you would decide whether to use that or not. The rearm and whatnot. How do you think what ships will be able to rearm ships except the Idris? I think so when it comes to like rearming things on like the Idris, for example, it is designed and set up to do that in an efficient way. So it'll have access to fuse hoses, that are part of the fuse hoses, fuel hoses that are part of the ship's fuel, supplies, extra supplies of fuel on the Idris. You'll have a hose, you'll plug it into the ship, it'll take from that. Ammo will be physical, boxes that you load, missiles, of course, physical boxes. Repairing will be done physically using the beams or swapping out components and whatnot. It'll be more efficient on ships like the Idris, but it will still be possible on ships, say, like the Liberator, for example, that aren't necessarily designed to do that. But as long as you've got some form of way of, getting a fuel box with a hose or somehow manually filling it, you'll still be able to. It just won't be as effective or streamlined as it would on a ship that is designed to do that. So you should still be able to refuel, rearm, and repair physically with your ship on any ship. It could be in the back of a Star Lancer Max. You'll still be able to do it, provided you've got those items around to do it with. But on ships like the Idris, it'll be very much more streamlined. It'll be, on the cargo bay, being filtered in so that you can access it. Does that make sense? Good vibes. How you doing?
Determined to wipe out any threats that cross them.
The rusty weapons that was in the first Squadron trailer, I'm sure. So not new. It's new to us to get it in game though, right?
This month's release, you'll now take part in the conclusion to that storyline. The second was Science Run Amok, with the regen crisis,
maniacal,
into chaos,
yeah, jerry cans,
and you all jumping in to help the various corporations respond. Through that journey, we pulled back the curtain on ASD and its shady practices, uncovering long-forgotten Onyx facilities, and met new characters like Dr. Logan Yorit and Detective Arkham Meller of the Hokro Agency. And just like the Pyro Must Burn storyline carried us into a new system, Science Run Amok is now setting the stage for Nyx, the next step in the larger story we're telling on the road to 1.0. As this new chapter,
thank you, Deacon. Appreciate that. Thank you, Rofus. Congrats.
Team members working to bring this next era of our universe to life.
So it's quite interesting that this whole Dr. Jorah ASD storyline is extending into the Nyx system and will be part of that whole welcome to Nyx kind of storyline that you can uncover. Yeah, so it's the Shiv is made by someone called Grey and is a mixture of different bits from other ships, but essentially the chassis is mostly from a cutlass. It is not made by Drake. It is probably not endorsed by Drake, even though they are, you know, hacked together. So, yeah, it's